Thank you. Here we are. Hi, folks. Welcome. If you're here for our event with Kristen Hirsch and Black Francis, we are in the right place. We're going to get started in just a moment here. I love seeing the attendees filter in. The numbers just tick up. It's like the doors have opened at the box office. It's very exciting. Hi, everyone. While you're here, you can go
Tell
ahead.
us more. I can't see any numbers or anything. So,
yeah, sure. So far we have,
is every,
60, 61, here wait, 63, 64. Oh man, it's like ticker tape.
you see how they're dressed or anything? Are they?
What are they wearing?
I wish I knew. This guy's not wearing anything. Come on. It's like the Met Gala. But if you folks want to go ahead, say hi in the chat, tell us where you're tuning in from. We love to, we're at 69. Nice, everybody. Very cool. We're going to get started in just a moment. We're really excited for this event today. And I have just a couple of announcements for you before we start. So go ahead, say hello in the chat, get settled, grab yourself a beverage of your choice, accoutrement, and we'll get started in a moment. First, I'd like to say hello, welcome. I'm Car, I'm the events coordinator here for Green Apple Books in San Francisco. And we're here this evening with Kristin Hersh and Black Francis, celebrating Kristen Hirsch's new book, Seeing Sideways, a memoir of music and motherhood. It's right here if you have not seen it yet. And if you folks have already picked up your copy from Green Apple or from another beloved indie bookstore, thank you very, very much. If you are also waiting to purchase your book from Green Apple, we are getting signed copies of Kristen's book, I believe, by Monday. So if you want to hold out for a signed copy, do write signed in your order comment. I'll put the link here in the chat. And if you just want the book right away, we have plenty of unsigned copies as well. Before we get started, I'd like to also let you know that we have a lot of great events coming up here at Green Apple this month and also over the next couple of months. But next up, we have evenings with authors including Martha Wells, Annalee Newitz, Rivers Solomon, Charlie Jane Anders, Gary Kamaya, and Carlo Ravelli. We're very excited about all of those. And I will say we have a full event calendar on our website at greenapplebooks.com, and all of our events are free unless stated otherwise. That being said, if you can, please do buy books. Please do buy them from us or another beloved independent bookstore. If you've been here before, you've heard me say that when you buy books from us, not only does it help us put on events like these, but it supports the authors that put so much work, so much of their heart into making these books. And then at the end, you get a book out of it, which might be the best part. So if you can, please do buy books. Thank you. I want to alert to you as well that there is a Q&A function this evening. So right here on the bottom of your screen or on the top of your screen, depending on the interface, you can enter a question into the Q&A at any point during the hour, and we will get to it at the end. So if something comes to mind, don't let it slip away. You can put it into the Q&A and we will get to it. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce the two joining us this evening. Very briefly, Black Francis is a singer, songwriter, and guitarist and frontman of Pixies and Frank Black and the Catholics. Most recently, he collaborated with avant-garde collective The Residents on the song Die, Die, Die from Psychophon Records. Please do welcome, you know him, Black Francis.
Hello.
Good wave. And last but certainly not least, Kristen Hirsch is a solo artist and founding member of the bands Throwing Muses and 50-Foot Wave. She's the author of Don't Suck, Don't Die, Giving Up Vic Chestnut, and Rat Girl, which was named one of the 10 best rock memoirs ever written by Rolling Stone. Her latest book, Seeing Sideways, a memoir of music and motherhood, is the reason we're here tonight. So please join me in welcoming Kristen Hirsch. Take it away, folks.
Thank you.
Hello, there you are.
Hey, baby, how you doing?
I am pretty good. While it may be age appropriate for me, I won't go into my aches and pains, but I am wearing a brace, and I'm just going to say that this was a sport-related injury.
Oh, hell, that is so bitching.
You know, I'll even say more. Skateboard related.
Whoa,
How
hell yeah.
cool is that? How cool is that?
It's so cool. I barely believe you. I'm sorry you fell down.
I find the whole gravity thing, it's relentless.
It's real. Physics is not your bitch.
Anyway, I'm doing okay. I mean, that's it,
That's adorable, Grandpa.
That's what it was like. I mean, traffic was stopped.
Really?
And traffic was stopped. All the neighbors. I was attempting to show my son some skills that I thought that I had, and I jumped on, and I went down, and traffic stop. Are you okay, sir? Are you okay,
no.
sir?
They call you sir. I'm so sorry. Oh, that is so sad.
Scene.
You know what? Old school skills don't have a Z. Our skills have S's, and that's sad.
Anyway, so I'm doing all right, and I took my first trip out of town the other day. Have you been out of town?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that you had. Because sometimes your pictures I see, which look like paintings sometimes, by the way. Some of them, they really do. I have to look at them a couple of times and go, is that a painting or is that a picture?
Thank you, baby.
And so anyway, I gathered from some of the photographs that they weren't always in the same location,
Yeah. I've been booking around from kid to kid. I got a chef in New York and a baker in New Orleans and a surfer in Encinitas, and then now the animator left LA and he's in Rhode Island cleaning his karma from corporate ugly. I'm a proud mom.
So I get it. So you're doing that circuit of visiting with them.
Yeah, and because they took us off the road, I was saying, you and I just left the road when? Like October?
That was one of the last shows that I really remember was playing with you in Boston, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And then we all kind of had to wrap up shortly thereafter.
And well, I went back on the road, and my last show was Valentine's Day in Chicago. As I said, it was 2 out. And I thought, get me out of here. I never want to tour again. And then they said, no, you can't ever tour again. So I had to go and, make a bunch of records and finish this book and crap. But I timed it pretty well.
Well, I don't know why this is one of my favorite passages of the book, but there's a section in the book. I'm just going to bring it up now. Let's just do it. And I get the impression the location was somewhere maybe on the East Coast, like in New York City area or Connecticut, somewhere like that. Anyway, it was a kind of a restaurant that you would go to in this particular portion of the book, and you would soothe yourself with an icy cold alcoholic drink from this place. It was a kind of umbrellas in the glass kind of a drink. You know what I mean? It was was it a margarita?
Yeah.
Okay, it was a margarita. It was just sort of like whatever was going on in your life was going on at the time, but there was this kind of, I don't know what you call it, but a kind of an accord between you and your life and the beverage, and you're just like,
that is so real, dude. Yeah, if you can.
Anyway, I haven't had it. I haven't had a drink in about 2 years, right? 2.5 years. And but just out of the blue. Well, not exactly out of the blue, but kind of out of the blue. I just one day I said, I have to take a break from more. I'm not going to do that anymore. But anyway, but I still like to hear about other people, sort of these little moments like that.
Well, it's a hard softening effect, alcohol, not unlike music. You write a song about something that is icy cold in your life, and an icy cold song will spin that cold so that you become it, and it's no longer painful. It's a beautiful pain, which is the only opposite of pain we have. Comfort, painless, they're not the opposite of pain. They're nothing.
Yeah.
You got to be able to carry that pain. And Wyatt, my son Wyatt, actually said just the other day, we're tasked with pain. Like, don't avoid it. Take it on, just in case you can carry somebody else's pain with the muscle you earned with this pain. And that's a better thing to do about it than drink margaritas. But they are both softening agents. Like New Orleans taught me about, redemption through sin. Like their whole philosophy is whatever gets you through the night, meaning you're not supposed to be killed yet. And if you are, you'll be dead in the morning, so don't worry about it. You have to get through the night. We're going to forgive you for whatever you had to do to make that so.
Do you feel like you probably miss it? I mean, I don't know. I think musicians that tour a lot, there's a range in terms of how much they love or dislike touring. You know what I mean? Depending on the personality or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Some people are just die hard, like, please, can I never stop? And other people have a more measured approach. Anyway, I don't know where I am, somewhere in the middle, I suppose. But there was probably the most magical, performance moments I can think of were when I was starting out, probably. And, a lot of those shows touring around with you in that van in, that belonged to Chaz and Shirley Banks. And anyway, whatever was going on in your life was going on. Whatever was going on in my life was going on in my life. It's the same as everybody else that was in that van, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everyone had their stuff spinning around, going on.
That was an intense van.
Yeah. But thank Christ, man, that little gig at the night, and sometimes it was a little gig, sometimes it was a big gig, but whatever, they were all big. But, sometimes it was, it could have been, it was just like you imagine. It was just like the Beatles at the Star Club or whatever, just filled with smoke and everything just dripping on the walls and everyone just passing out.
Yeah, we played places that only had asbestos falling from the ceiling.
Oh, the asbestos. Oh, man. But I just it was but it was so great to be able to forget about whatever, all of your stuff. And then just for that 1 hour or so, you're just like, woo! And it was just, oh man, it was like.
That was a ship of lost souls. And that's a good thing. Like, you need that. You need to get on a ship if your soul is lost. And we did. And we sang sad songs about being homesick on the van in the middle of the night together. What was it? 500 miles away from home, away from home. That's what tiny babies we were.
Oh man.
But yeah, we got all that built up restlessness.
I have to just, thank you so much, because that was really the tour that brought us to a new place so that we could remain there, so we could remain at work, doing what we like to do. And
cool. Those are good.
But it was such a super magical kind of moment that it's not even that I look nostalgically back at it. It's more like I keep trying to find some way to recreate it. It was like that good.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's just like, how can I just make it more like it was back then, you know? Whatever aspect it is that you're trying to tweak, you're always trying, if it was more like, whether it's the way you're playing the songs or the way the accommodations you're staying in or whatever the hell it is, you're always trying to like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
I never
anyway, it's
loved
not
it.
first world problems, right? It's good.
They tried to take that van away from me, and I wouldn't let go. I was like white knuckled grip into that van, and that's still my life. I love it so much. I mean, nobody could really like touring. It's just so hard, but you can love it. You know, when you find out that each want just falls away until you only have needs, and then the needs start falling away until you only have music. I mean, I know it sounds lame, but it's so true. I'm not even sure you need air because we don't get much.
Well, it's like, you have quite a few truck stop kind of moments in your book, and I have a lot of those moments racked up as well. But that is nothing more beautiful than being out on that
Yeah,
lonely highway in that
yeah.
truck stop, either the one that you've been to a million times before, or one that you've never
Yes.
been to
You
before.
always go back to the same ones, right? Unless we just think that.
Oh, no, there's that one in New Mexico, the Gallup there. It's called the Giant Truck Stop or something.
Yeah.
I
And you
love
look
that.
forward to it the whole tour.
Oh, but I mean, the whole truck stop, whatever. It's beautiful. There's I mean, I don't want to get all corny here, but you know what I mean? It's all the beautiful poetry of all of these people that you're kind of intersecting with,
It's
whoever
true.
they are, whatever they're doing there at the truck stop, and
Country
everyone's
music
kind of,
blasting.
framed by you talk about your needs. It's like, yeah, they have to go to the bathroom. They got to buy a pack of smokes. They got to get gas. They got to eat some nuts because their blood sugar's all screwed up.
Yeah, they do trucker speed and Red Bull.
Trucker speed.
But then they're thinking, that whatever, I don't know if it's the trucker speed and Red Bulls or if it's the loneliness on the road, but they just pile up these thoughts and then they meet up together. So you see them wandering around with their little bags of Burger King for somebody to talk to because it's like their tongue is full of all of their thoughts and they have to tell another trucker about them. It's beautiful.
Oh man, I can't get it. I'm not tired of that. I'm not
That's
tired
so
of that.
good to hear. I'm not either. I like that
It's
middle of the night gas station stop where it's like bugs everywhere and that fluorescent light and you're
the
clean.
fluorescent light. I love it, man. Oh man, it is. It's like being in a movie or something, and it's just.
It
It's
is
a
a
sad. There
cinematic
comes
life.
the actor with. I mean, fortunately, I haven't run into too much trouble in those kind of situations. You know what I mean? And so, I guess whatever. I guess there's a rough side to it too. But fortunately, as you and I both know, as we go around, we find that the world is full of these really nice people.
Really
They're
is.
everywhere. It's nice people.
They really are. They shock me. The humanity. You can't kick that out of a psychology. You can break it. You can fuck it up, as we know, but they still have a heart in there. I'm fascinated by that. And I'm shy. I can't deal with people. And yet I love them. I am impressed by them, especially at a gas station in the middle of the night on the highway. I forgot to read my passage. I was supposed to like
It's all
quiet.
right.
Like, read books now.
You know what? I'll stop you there. So here, I'll find a passage here. It's
Okay.
Now these aren't really passages that I've marked here. They're just like, it's like a little line that just stood out.
Aw.
All right. And Sorry, I got my CBS glasses on. That's the other thing. It's I haven't worked it out yet with the damn glasses. You know. There we go. What does it say here? See, it's the. Sorry, I'm I'm laughing at myself here, trying to find my focus, trying to find my
so
fucking
sorry.
focus here.
Remember, you have a skateboard injury. You're still
I
cool.
love these glasses. They're like, I don't know what some
Amazing.
people will call them, old lady glasses or whatever. They have all these sparkles on them and everything. They're pretty good, but at nighttime, it's not as good.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby.
I got an
It's my
appointment,
fault.
but they're all,
I'll
everyone's
get you
all
the
backed
large
up.
print
I'm like, all
edition.
right, I'll come when you can see. So you just said here, you said, American success is a weird party.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was a really interesting sentence. And I guess to put it into context, I guess the sentence comes maybe at a time when you were having some interaction with I don't know what you call them, music biz heavies or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
New
You know
York
what?
City,
Yep.
showbiz, record business, publishing business, and
Just very.
finding some sort of success in your life, and then suddenly finding yourself intermingling with, I don't know, a kind of a social circle or whatever that you didn't imagine you would, but it's part of your thing. It's like, oh yeah, they're from my record company or whatever, you know, and you're trying your best to deal with it. And
You know when this was?
they're kind of telling you that you're great, and you're kind of going, yeah, thanks, I think, you know. And it's all kind of awkward, and like you said, it's weird. It's like, you're great. And it's like, yeah, why do I go? I don't know. You just don't. It's all weird. It's just weird. You don't.
You know when that passage was when we were living in that Oakwood in Burbank, and
Oh man, the dope
I
wood.
was
Oh
making I was making the real Ramona, and you were making something with Gil, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it gets pretty
Yes.
ugly. Yeah, that's when I realized, nah, it's so different for women. I was like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm never gonna do what you want me to do. I'm walking, and they're like, yeah, no, you can't walk. You're not allowed. But yeah, it's a weird party. And if I don't read, I'm gonna forget. We're gonna chat the whole time. This is supposed to be an intellectual endeavor. This one is about leaving New Orleans, which is
Oh, okay.
hard to do. Halfway home, rat banana leaves waving goodbye. When melting itself melts, entropy isn't a badness. We describe process as more than right and wrong, walking crooked lines, landing in lessons until we're swamp rich and done. Done for now, anyway. When the killer bees appear on the third floor where we sleep, gradually over a period of weeks, they hover, making eye contact with us, then drop and dart around the children's ankles. The boys, unfazed, unstung. The killer bees store several pounds of killer honey under the floorboards, which the bee guy removes jar by killer jar. Briefly, he lifts the netting over his face to wipe away tears because Africanized bees must be destroyed. This is the first time we've seen his face, and it's crying. We tell him, no, leave the bees and we'll leave the house, but it's too late. This is sobering. He drives away, diminished by the afternoon, and we blame ourselves. Why is it always war between people and animals? And why do we always gotta win? We can't handle our animal natures, so we punish the animal outside. Y'all do the same thing to women, you know. I know. When the house becomes electrified, we're shocked by things that don't usually shock you. Shower spray, for example, and silverware, the telephone, walls. We're shocked by nearly everything we touch. It's like trying to live with lightning. Maybe we should let lightning keep the house. Well, it's a lousy roommate. What if we're the lousy roommates? until an electrician friend willing to slip off his rusty bike and slip under the soggy old structure, crawl through the rats and the dead rats and the dead everything and the detritus of a couple hundred years, tweaks some wires, and we all live. He is an uncomfortable beast made of unimaginableness when he finally pulls himself out on his stomach. There's a whole city down there, he says. Is it gross? Depends on what you think is gross. The rats like it. Did we fuck with their city? A little, yeah. They know they aren't safe anymore. This is also sobering. When the music business sneaks in, people who don't understand that music is unselfish, we chase it away to go wake up at home, away from our record. My bandmates and I, pussies all around, scare these people with a badly taxidermied ocelot, a wall-eyed and grief-stricken ocelot, a dead forever ocelot named Hecubus. We place it in their beds, dress it in their clothes, and put their headphones on its scruffy ears. It's in their closets, their cars. We position it outside their door so that it's the first thing they see in the morning, or in their showers so that it's the very first thing they see in the morning, or sleeping next to them so it's even firster. Hecubus gave his life a long time ago, and we honor his hairless, unselfish nature by accepting his help. When I put on a shirt with a black widow spider in it, I'm bitten twice. Wacky things happen when a black widow bites you, just FYI. I brag that I faced 2 deadly spiders because I have 2 bites, but really, I just put on a bad shirt, then watched a little shiny dude scamper away in terror and called myself a survivor. Between Piety Street and Desire Street, a Bywater witch doctor tells me she can't treat me because she's arachnophobic. I grimace at her. Well, the spiders are gone. They left. I'm not wearing them. And it was probably just one, but don't tell my bandmates. Still, I don't think I can help you. Okay. But, spider medicine's powerful. This is medicine? Of a sort. Anyway, bad music business, good medicine. You're right.
Yeah, I like all the honeybee stuff in the book.
Yeah, a lot of animals. I was surprised by all the animals that turned out. The ostriches.
Well, it's nice because you can focus on whether they're real characters or objects or beings or whatever is going on. But because everyone in your book, other than your sons, are nameless, it kind of it shifts the focus a little bit. And so when you talk about bees or spiders or stuffed ocelots, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Whatever it is, it's just kind of it's like, oh yeah, them. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the people without names.
I find it a little bit relaxing in the book, in that I don't have to keep track of everyone's name. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because it's already bad enough in real life. I have to keep track of everyone's name. That's horrible. You know what I mean? And I'm not very good at it.
And it hurts their feelings when you don't remember their names. But I want to say, that's the meaningless part of you. I remember your way and your energy and what you said.
Things like even like posture or whatever, the way someone gesticulates. There's so many things about a person, obviously. And not that names aren't important, and for some people, names are very important. I get it. But yeah, it's very nice that in the reading to be able to focus on some of the things you're saying without the baggage of wait, now, who's that? Why is that person that?
Yeah. Well, it was
either I get the connection or I don't. Whatever, man. I'm going to focus on what you're really trying to say.
Yes, exactly. It was a nice device for that reason.
Yeah.
And it was useful because I have 2 drummers and 2 bass players, but they play the same role in my life. And this way, the story was smoother. I think I named cities, I suppose, is another proper noun. And the children, I was tasked with their ability to stay alive. So those are big names to me. Those are the only big names in my life. I can't be
Kind of
starstruck
someone
or
else a second. I get it. Yeah.
yeah. I can't be impressed by anything else, really. And they're animals. They're such little animals. And then you realize, I'm uncivilized. Everybody is like this. The pretending is so boring. The animal nature, it's continually in flux, always surprising, always interesting, and honest. It can't lie. Even when kids lie, it's so transparent that it's honest.
I do have a dystopian musical fantasy that is, and it's not been borne out because of the pandemic. So it hasn't happened, but and I like playing the electric guitar just like you do, and I like all that. I'm a volume addict, and I admit it, but like they have in one of those dystopian movies where all the power goes out, and I know that would be disastrous for everybody. So I don't, before anyone gets upset, I know it'd be bad. I know.
Dude, you're canceled.
But just like, let me have a little fun with this here. All the power goes out, right? Because of the aliens did something or whatever happened. I don't know. Power doesn't work, bro. We're all just trudging around now, trying to figure out what the hell we're going to eat and all that, Basically, that's it, Okay, so, but wouldn't it be nice to be as the troubadour, to be making all of that as much sound as you could with your voice and with your instruments and your drums and your spaces that you gather in, your amphitheaters or your theater or hall or wherever you do this music making, to do, no electricity, no.
Yes, that's awesome.
Nothing, and I do, I know that people, and I know people do that, but to have that be the way.
Yes, that's such a great.
If wishes were fishes, I suppose. I know that's. I'm not complaining about my station, but
music making is something that we do. We did before there was a music business. There are people who play water drums, like splashing, and it's beautiful. That is music. But beer commercial shit, that's not music. They just call it that. So that we'll buy beer. And same with the radio, commercial music. Here's a commercial. I want people to remember that music is within the human sphere. If you're human, you can make it. Play your own music. And then you can learn the difference between true drama and melodrama, between lying and truth. And then you can't be lied to anymore. You will find your idiosyncrasy. You'll find your soundtrack. And if it could happen in a room instead of being sold to you, that's a utopian fantasy, not a dystopian fantasy. You earned that skateboard injury, dude.
My teenagers they have moved on from even their they still listen to music on their wherever they listen, streaming or whatever, but they kind of gone through their vinyl, but now they're really into cassettes now. And so they've been going down in the basement and finding all these old boom boxes and stuff, and old boxes of cassettes of mine, and going like, what is this? Who's this? What's this all about? And just all coming up in the house, all covered in like cat piss and everything, just like, okay, all right. But it's music, they're just like,
That's amazing.
I found my son out. Mother Nature boy, I tell you, I find my son out in the backyard the other day with an old cassette player and a Chick Corea cassette. Just
wow.
I don't know. I almost want to say I think he might have had like a, like a reed or something in between his teeth. You know what I mean?
I I love the future. This is wackier than
Yeah.
I thought it would be.
But anyway, I digress. I apologize.
Not at all. That's what we're here for. That's beautiful. I thought vinyl was going back in time.
Well, did you know that, and as I understand, now you spent a lot of time in New Orleans, obviously, Louisiana, and I know some people there. But my understanding is that if you're from Louisiana, if you're really from there, that chances are if and when you ever pick up stakes and go somewhere else for a while, basically there's a 90% chance that you return,
Ah, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So everyone from that area, most of them statistically, when they pick up sticks, they go have another adventure in their life. Eventually, they come back. They come
Yeah,
back
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's one of those kinds of places.
It really is. It's a
So I don't know. Obviously, I go there. I'm perfectly entertained. I love it. But obviously, I'm still almost a tourist. Even though I might have some musical business there to conduct or whatever. But when you've lived there as you have, you must have a sense of as to why
yeah,
that
yeah.
is,
There's
why
some-
that is,
It feels different there. Not only
why it's
is
special there.
it's like an island that is not America, uh, which is nice to relieve. I love America, but it's nice to have an island outside of it to go to that is so rich. I guess that's the best word for New Orleans. There's a richness there. In the air, I'm gonna say it. I think there's music in the air. And the folks there agree with me. They could be making it up, but I don't think I am. And when you walk down the street, they're they're playing music. You hear music through the windows, on the porches, in the front yards, in the garages, in the churches. Fucking rock, man. The church is incredible. It's like every church has a rock band. It's like just screaming out the doors.
Yeah.
And it gives me hope that is not really stuck in time, speaking of seeing sideways, that there is more history in our future than this little instant of greed that has turned, it calls product music when they really shouldn't be getting away with that. It's like, put it back in our hands, put it back in our sphere. And it's happening there because they do not engage with the outside world.
There's a you said not engaged, and I like that. I guess a lot of it is about non-engagement, but yeah, I like these. There are these artist writer types from central England, around Oxford area, I think.
Uh-huh.
They publish books, poetry, and that kind of thing. And anyway, some of them they call it Dark Mountain Project. And anyway, but they have a manifesto and everything, which I find interesting.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, but they refer to it as uncivilization. And
Oh, that's
and and I won't get into what they're all about because it's not what we're here to talk about. But I guess it reminded me of that when you said
yeah.
to
See,
not engage with the nonsense, basically.
yeah. See, your
You
human
know.
nature should be more like your animal nature. And yes, it would be uncivilized. Here's the end of that part. When we promised when we left that studio in New Orleans that we would come back for Christmas. We did go back for Christmas, just like we promised. All that crazy hurricane water was gone then. Walking in the Marigny on Christmas Day in a thick, cool, floating mist, I stepped off the sidewalk to avoid an enormous puddle of blood that had spilled off the curb and into the street. A prayer of hope for the hopeless repeating itself in my head. A homeless man shuffled to a stop and joined me, both of us staring down at the spreading red. He sighed into it. You think that's all blood? His enormous nature showing itself in his hope for the hopeless, some story that might play out as what? Spilled paint? Which is unlikely. So yes, some blood, some violence and pain, but also, we were gonna make our mailbox a prettier red and we tripped. So no, it's not all blood. The sweetness, that's a prayer. I looked at him, then back down at the red ground. I don't know. Then he sort of tipped his hat like a cowboy in an old movie, except his cowboy hat was an old fishing cap he probably found in the street. The gesture was beautiful. He smiled sadly. Well, Merry Christmas anyway. I have a friend who cannot stop saying Merry Christmas anyway. This friend who lives in the Marigny down there. Every now and then in the middle of the night, I'll just get a text somewhere in the world just says, well, Merry Christmas anyway.
So you carried, you carry him with you now.
Yes.
Little moments.
It's such
It's
a nice
made its
attitude.
rounds. Your friends are quoting it. Now I'm going to start quoting it. It's in your book. Merry Christmas. Anyway.
I think it's what my son Wyatt was saying. Like, if you could maybe carry someone else's pain, then this muscle will be a useful one.
Yeah.
Don't step away if it's your pain or somebody else's. Just take it on. Take on a puddle of blood.
There was a guy there was a homeless guy that I used to intersect with in my life. And I don't know. I don't know what I got out of the experience other than I observed it. And one time he was very far away and I wanted to take a picture of him to remember, and I didn't think that he was even aware of me because he used to do this thing. And he would walk a few steps, and then he would kind of bump his head like that. That was his habit, and then he would do a little twirl like this, and then he would walk a couple more steps and he would do this, right? And I would see him all over town, all different hours of the day. And that's what he had to do, Anyway, I saw him again one day for the 100th time. And I was like, I really want to I just quietly tried to take a picture without him seeing me, but being the perceptive person that he was, of course, he spotted me instantly. And he just stopped. He just stopped the show. He's just like, no, fuck you, buddy. You're not taking a picture of my little twirly thing here. I'm not like, no. Like, fuck you,
That's
And
amazing.
I was just like, all right, touche. It's like, fuck, you caught me. I was trying to take a picture. But, I really, anyway, it was one of those beautiful moments that you just have a gesture. It was just sort of like, no.
That's perfect. I feel like
Anyway,
the universe would just tilt on its
He
axis.
kind of put me in my place without really making me to feel badly about it. He didn't shame me. He just kind of like stopped, He just stopped.
That's great.
It's just like, you're going to let me continue with my walk here or what? Dude, it's like, you're right. You're right. It's just like,
He's doing a valuable service there. Half of my friends in New Orleans and California are homeless, and it is definitely a world where you can be a bit uncivilized and yet hyper civilized. Like the superego does play a role. It's not virtue signaling, certainly not in that world. It's a very raw place to be, boy, and sometimes it breaks people, but it also brings them together. I've learned a lot about that beautiful community.
Yeah.
And maybe, everything would just kind of get fucked up if he stopped doing that dance. Universe tilted on its axis, everything falls apart, and it's because you tried to take a picture of him and own his dance.
Well, I'll just quickly look and see if there was something else here that I wanted to point out, and there is, but it's a little teeny tiny thing. Just like I wasn't looking for big things. I was reading, and now this is kind of a showbiz situation where like maybe you could. There it is. I was going to say you need to save me because I was losing valuable time here. No, I'm here. There it is. Oh, this is the one. This is like my new motto. I've never gotten a tattoo, but I might have to. Like, it's that good. Right here. This is art. For me, this is art right here. You're looking for a stronger truth and nothing but the truth. No, stringent, sorry. Again, these freaking glasses. You're looking for a stringent truth and nothing but the truth. The whole truth, though, can go fuck itself. Leave space. And that, I felt like that was a very, attuned statement about, about it's self-referential, it's about you, but it's also about art, and it's about sharing, but it's also about not sharing, and it's about
everybody has a sculpture to get to. They're clay in whatever sphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you and I have the same one, but it probably applies to any passion, right?
But I understand you when you say something like that.
I know you do, baby. Thank you.
That's my new thing. Yeah, the truth, man. I'm going to show you the truth. Just not the whole truth.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing. Because I don't know why, but yeah. You can let me know why some other time. But
yeah, it's not for everyone.
I'm happy now just to follow.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Hey, you too.
Hey, baby.
Thanks for all of this. Oh my gosh, Kristen, your writing is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Like, what a gift. We have plenty of audience questions here, so thank you folks for being here with us. I'm going to read as many as I can in our time allotted. Thank you for being so thoughtful. Some of you did your homework, so showing off, but we have a few here. This first one is just what motivated you to write this memoir right now about motherhood and music?
Somebody told me to. Women empowerment. My editor said, I want you to write a book about raising 4 boys on a bus. And I said, well, you've met kids and you've met buses, right? They're cool, but they can be a little samey. I don't know if that's a book's worth of material. And then he said, well, if I time it right, then all your, you'll be facing empty nest when it's published. This was maybe 5 years ago when I started writing it. And I said, that's just awful. That's so mean. And he just waited and said, you can do it. And he knew I would be addicted to the process once it began. So I know that's kind of a bad answer. A man told me to do it, and I said yes. But it was actually a woman's idea. I can be my feminist self for a second. She told him to ask me.
Great. I think that's a great answer. Let's see. Sally says, I was really looking forward to this. I recall your beautiful song, A Loon, with the footage of one of your sons, and I especially loved the puddles. What went through your mind that day?
Oh, that was in Amsterdam, which Ryder, the little boy, called Hamsterdam. and I still call Amsterdam. I speak like all my children. I had my fourth son spoke exactly like buckwheat. And so I adopted all of this vocabulary. It sounds like buckwheat. He doesn't, obviously doesn't talk that way anymore. But yeah, it was the orchestral version. It was a string quintet where each instrument was playing one of my guitar strings. And it was very sad that the song was sort of strident as an acoustic song, but with the quintet, it was heartbreaking. And the baby, babies are always heartbreaking. They'll cheer you up because they're beautiful and funny, but their life and death and gravity and fear. And that was actually, for a video, it was really intense. It was true. And it was not the recorded version of the song, it was recorded live. And so the difference between me lip syncing and the difference between me lip syncing and singing, you can see. When I'm lip syncing, I'm just standing there moving my lips. But in this video, my eyes are practically rolling back in my head. That's what singing is to me, and it's not pretty. But having Baby Ryder there, they sort of introduced the softer side of gravity, so it doesn't truly break your heart.
Jimmy here is the one who did his homework. Says page 177.
Uh-oh.
You say, yeah, quote, yeah, an apple when it falls, but also an alchemical blend of clean fire and dirty water was a passage that really jumped out to me. Can you speak more in depth about that description?
Yeah, we always called songs apples because the major we were signed to was selling the equivalent of McDonald's, and we were rushing up with this bushel of apples going like, look what we found. And they say, yeah, okay, we're gonna chop it up and make it into these weird little fried things we call pies that are gonna kill people. And we were so baffled. We were young, we started when we were 14 when we started playing out, and we were still teenagers at this time. And I had to fight to get us off the label and out of the industry and somehow try to survive as musicians without playing a game. And we stuck to that notion of apples. We said, like, well, in our basement, we would just pitch those apples around the room, and they're all bumpy and they're bruised and they're gross and they're splattered. And that's how you fall in love. You can maybe like one of those McDonald's pies, but you can love this piece of shit apple. That's what we're here to do. We can't be passionate about anything else. And so we brought that apple analogy to New Orleans. The passages that I just read were recording in this big old melting mansion in August. Nobody else wanted to be there, so we recorded there then for cheap. And yeah, you got to bring that fire without letting any ego in. You have to let fire melt. I don't know how else to talk about it. There aren't really any other words, which is, why my facility with the English language is a little broken by prose and lyrics. But yeah, I think that passage already says it better than I could.
A complimentary question to that. Molly asks, as a self-proclaimed shy person, how far out of your comfort zone does publishing books take you? And does this make you feel more vulnerable than when you release songs?
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I don't need anybody to know anything about me. I find it difficult to go to the grocery store or answer the phone. I'm one of those shy people. And yet I have this addiction to the truth, like Charles was just saying. I keep telling it, and not the whole truth, because that would be unbeautiful. We don't need all of it. You need the line, the clean sculpture within the truth. And I don't know how to tell the truth if I haven't lived it. So I keep writing what I've lived. All my songs are autobiographical. My drummer's always giving me shit. He's like, you're in so much trouble. People think that you're a poet. you're just writing down what happens to you. I was like, yeah, I know. And at least with the book, I admit I'm just writing down what happened to me. It's just that the way I use English is not conversational English. It's like attributing a verb or color quality to every word. And so I hope that while this is literally true, it isn't only literally true of me. It could have, you could apply it to your passionate life experience.
Jed asks too, do you find yourself reading differently after writing books?
I find myself reading less. I mostly read science books anyway, but yeah, I want words to make themselves up. When I read books, that doesn't happen for me. I like to straddle a little bit, so it's kind of dream while I'm writing. And when I read books, if they don't write that way, it reminds me of, I have synesthesia, so music has colors for me, and other synesthetics. When we talk about colors, they have the wrong ones applied to these chords, and I get sick, like nauseated. It's like, oh my God, how could you think that? You're so wrong. And that's what it's like now to read, not all books, but that's why I read less. It's like, oh gosh, your words are dead. You killed them. That's so sad.
We'll take a couple more questions here. This person says, you seem to have a hate-hate relationship with pop music. Did any of your kids ever get into a pop singer that made you want to barf? Conversely, did they ever get into one that you found unexpected respect for?
I don't hate pop music. I play pop music. I hate crap music. I love the form pop. It's beautiful. And it's such an opportunity to reach out to people and say, look, this is all sweetness and it is an ache. And you can fit anything into the pop form. Just respect it. Don't disrespect it. And that crap, that's not pop. That's nothing. It's not, there's no such thing as bad music. There's music and then there's not music. I just complain about not music. It's like mostly flirting and, fashion, I suppose. I'm talking about a completely different energetic. And my kids, I had complete control over. They were raised in my world, in my dressing rooms, in my hotel rooms, on my bus, and they only listened to my friends because that's who I was playing with on the road. So I suppose that's a little bit controlling, but it wasn't really my fault. And then when the business collapsed and music was in the ether for free and you could search through genre and through time, I was like, now we will have a musically literate populace that is not out of touch with their own musical response. And that has been true of my children. So that was a long-winded way of saying I have only respect for their listenership. And then, yes, they have introduced me to some incredible music through time and genre. And no, they have never been into any pop stars. If pop stars were great, then right on. I wouldn't care who was listening, if it was nobody or everybody, but there's a lot of that. There's some sweet spots and I am very grateful for them. But yeah, I have a pretty hate like it's sold. Not you. This man is going to save the world.
We'll take one more question here, and it's for both of you. And I'll try and get this comment in before the question. So we have one person here who'd like to say, it was 33 years exactly when I saw Throwing Muses and Pixies on the House Tornado tour. Your van life back then was important and it changed my life.
Aw, that's nice.
Which is really nice. And
It changed our
then
lives too.
Scotty here has a similar question that says, hi guys, great webinar. Would you be willing to share any stories about what you learned from each other regarding your individual approaches to songwriting when you guys were young and touring together, or just a funny bus story or prank, haha?
I remember Charles drawing, you drew a pie chart on the wall of the dressing room to this big fat Sharpie. And you had like, you diagrammed all music. And I don't know, like how wasted you were at the time. but you had like a definition for throwing muses and like we invented a bunch of new genres because we were like, all right, this isn't enough. We need more. And I think one of them was like guitar center, you know, like that's a genre. The sound of the dudes like playing their leads when you walk in a guitar center. You probably don't remember that.
I do not actually recall that.
You remember when that Nazi dude went after Joey?
I do. I still remember that. Yeah. It was always
bodily lift him into the van, keep him from getting killed. We were like in, I don't know.
We were, that was in Frankfurt by the railroad track there.
Yeah, and the guy was like.
The Batschkap, which is the Bat Cave.
Good memory. The dude is not loving us, but instead of killing Joey, he just took our beer.
It was so exciting to be performing at that time because the audience, they just were going completely bananas like I've never seen before. Like it was just sort of like a time period. It was like even just not just our shows. I mean, our shows were great, but it was just like a thing that was going on, and at least I've convinced myself of that. And whatever, there was like, the energy is good at other times, but there was some special energy then that was like,
true,
you know, like it was back then at the old Batschkap. You know? I'm sorry, but yeah, it was just kind of special, you know?
Yeah, though there was one piece of your pie chart that was just Roy Orbison, and that was the end of that night. You were like, oh, Chris, let's write a Roy Orbison song tonight.
Well, I guess we still have to do that. So
yeah, I'm coming over.
Okay, yeah. I'm fully vaxxed, so you know, come on over.
Right on. It's time. It's been 30 years.
Thank you both so much for joining us this evening. It's been really great hearing you both catch up and talk. And Kristen, thank you for putting this book into the world.
Thanks for having me, Kristen, tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's wonderful to see you.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see you again face to face.
I know. Your screen face is making me feel a little future shocky. Right. Thank you, Car. It was beautiful. A lovely night. And thanks to your questions, y'all.
Thank you. Thanks, folks. If you haven't picked up Kristen's book already, please do it. And thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.